We build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. We empower individuals to become more effective and communication leaders. Before we start the meeting, there are some rules. Mute the mic and unmute only when you have to speak and ask. For better experience, use speaker view. Avoid eating, drinking while camera is on. Follow the safety protocols at the attendees locations. Taboo about taboo topics of the Toastmasters. Please silent your phones and let me call upon a leader, very calm, composed, and affable person, very committed and hardworking, little but dreaming when it comes to quality, as she firmly believes in we. If we take care of a quality and quality will happen. Our past club growth director and current program quality director, she has held various positions in Toastmasters from club growth, club to district and excel in all the roles. She was the best division director of 2021 and 2022, best AD as well. As a president, she lead her club to the number one position in the district. Two times DTM achiever in Pathways, maximum number of educational awards by a member in District 116 for 2019 and 2020, and list goes on. By profession, a lawyer, currently specialization in international arbitration and anti-money laundering. Help me welcome woman of action with absolute commitment and determination. Ever smiling, distinguished Toastmaster Aler Mangai, DTM Aler Mangai. Please
Thank
give
you.
a big round of applause. Yeah.
Thank you, Toastmaster Hari, for bringing that wonderful cheer in my and glow in my face with your warm words from heart. They mean truly a lot to me, and I'm honored to have you as host today. Friends, give a big round of applause to our host, Toastmaster Hari, for not only supporting this meeting, he has been a pillar of support for all our training since we started this term. It deserves a big round of applause, virtual cheers from all of you. Please feel free to unmute yourself and give that wide round of cheers to our host. And he'll make sure that we all glow during the entire session, and it's been recorded as well. Thanks a lot, Toastmaster Hari. And warm welcome to the wonderful, amazing, honorable members of District 116 and other friends all over the world, especially logging in such a warm afternoon, despite being cold sun side of enjoyment, leaving all those things. Your commitment means a lot, and still, if you feel some more could enjoy from this session, feel free to ping them, alert them. There's something great gonna happen, which we don't want them to miss, especially the new members. The main purpose of having this excellent series is, of course, to take Toastmasters benefit to every member of District 116 and, of course, to the entire Toastmasters fraternity. And I'm truly grateful to the sincere support extended by my ex-com as well as every member, whoever I reach out to in the process of making this happen. So with all sincere gratitude, with all your loud round of cheers once again, let me open this session, training number 3 of District 116 Achieve Excellence series. And quick brief on the agenda. Yeah, today's session is going to be one of the milestone sessions of our entire learning session. How and what we are going to read from here, you will go through as it happens. And that's the reason we have decided to go for a solo session. Normally we have 2 sessions, right? this session is going to be solo session because it has a lot of vital inputs, not just for the champion aspirants or for the newcomers. It has something for everyone attending. So with that small note on about the session, let me introduce our vibrant timer for today, Toastmaster Mehjabeen. Lovely Toastmaster, thanks for volunteering to be our timer today. She is a calligraphy professional, and I look upon her interest that says she believes in learning from cradle to grave. Amazing. And one of the committed Toastmasters whom I've been admiring her journey throughout, whenever possible, she's there to make sure that she renders her support to the district trainings and, of course, all division area and club training. Welcome on board, Toastmaster Mehjabeen, our timer for today. And today's Q&A moderator will be Toastmaster Naila Rizwan. She was our earlier presenter, and of course, she's our district pathways manager, one of the most outgoing Toastmaster who is ready to help any meeting, whether it's at club level or area, division, and district, the first one to volunteer and support. Happy to have you, Toastmaster Naila Rizwan, and you will be receiving the questions on and off whenever our presenter is presenting, and help out our members to clarify their queries with our presenters as and the presenter is comfortable to take it up. Usually we have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. With that, let us now welcome the person whom we all waiting to listen to. Before I share her introduction, let me share few words from my heart. There are people who always inspire us. Some people motivate us, but very few people will bring in that magic in you without even uttering a word. When I say this, I mean it a lot. This person has personally inspired me and motivated me in many ways. I never knew her as a Toastmaster. When I joined Toastmasters, I thought, she's a college girl and they're enjoying the meeting, something like that. Later on, when I came to know about her journey in Toastmasters, literally, I was awestruck. And believe me, friends, I'm not exaggerating. That was one of my game changers in Toastmasters. I started taking Toastmasters seriously after looking upon this person. And she has been a Toastmaster ever since 2007. She has held up very many leadership roles, including being the president to district roles. You name, she had been a pillar of support for every role or event in District 116. Who says numbers doesn't matter? Let me share some numbers. Listen to it carefully and correct me if I'm wrong, whatever I said in the beginning. This is what made me take Toastmasters seriously. Yes, my dear friends. She's 6 times, not 1 or 2, 6 times district champion in international speech contest, 3 times district champion in evaluation contest, 3 times semi-finalist in world champion of public speaking. A forum we all just can imagine of being there. A person has gone there, been there as a contestant for 3 times and still fighting for it. Oh my God, touch it. May all her dreams come true. And of course, you all know she was a 2nd place winner last year. And well, it's just part of her. It maybe you can call that as her pastime. Apart from that, she's a entrepreneur, founder of a communication improving mobile app called Speedsy, and if I'm correct, she has my favorite, Wabi Sabi. She's the founder of Wabi Sabi that involves in recycling and upskilling the waste products and many other things. Well, this whole session won't be enough to introduce her. My favorite and everyone's favorite, ever inspiring, distinguished Toastmaster, Nisha Shivram. The screen is all yours.
Are you all excited? I want to hear.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Or
Yes.
exhausted?
Yes.
Because I can see
Yes.
around 72 attendees or participants here, and I can see only few of you on the screen, which means the videos. I want everyone to please switch on your videos, respect the speaker. I understand it's a Friday afternoon and you all might have had heavy lunch, and I would try to make it a little lighter for you, though it's a very heavy subject. Okay? So please, my humble request to each one of you to please switch on your videos so that I can see that you all are actually paying attention to what I'm saying. Thank you, District Program Quality Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Mangai, all the wonderful fellow Toastmasters, guests, if any. Good afternoon to each one of you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Now, this is the Good afternoon. This is the season of Toastmasters convention, is it not? Many of our fellow Toastmasters are there attending the convention. Yesterday we had our semi-finals done. Many of my friends were there competing. A couple of them won and moved on to the finals. I clapped for them and I said, okay, no problem. Next year I will be there. So not an issue. And tomorrow, we all will be watching these contestants live. But I know there are many here in this group who would wish to participate in the speech contest next year, and they want to learn how to craft a winning speech, is it not? As I always say, and I would like to repeat today, any speech, and listen to me carefully, any speech can be a winning speech, provided it meets three elements, or provided it has three elements. So now we have to see what are these three elements. And whatever I'm sharing today is from my own experiences. Number one is to have a universal message or topic. What does that mean? We are talking about international speech contest, which means after a certain level, you will be addressing people who are coming from different parts of the world. And that is why it is called international. We don't have international evaluation contest. We don't have international humorous speech contest. Remember that. This is specifically international speech contest because we have to deal with a lot of people coming from different parts of the world and we don't know from where they are coming from. Okay, so we need to have a universal message, which means a message or a topic that everybody, irrespective of which part of the world they come from, they should be able to relate to that message. Now, let me tell you, nobody would connect with your story. We always say that include personal stories because it helps in connecting with the audience. Very few in the audience would connect with your personal story. And if I have to give you an example, let's go back to last year's winning speech, Jocelyn's speech, where she shared her experience as a triathlete, right? How many of you have attempted triathlon? How many of you ever had the experience of meeting somebody at the airport where someone came and asked for your card? How many of you ever had an experience where you went, and let's say that you went to an Indian wedding and you got engaged in the celebrations, and you had this hiding the shoe activity? Very few from North Indians, yes, they can relate to that particular story where Aaron Beverly had shared his experience of attending an Indian wedding function, right? So remember, very few people would connect with your personal story, but everybody would connect with the message. And that is why it is important that you must have a universal message in your speech. And what does that mean? That you should tackle topics like love, happiness, success, failure, challenges, helping somebody or reaching out, asking for help, cultural differences. Okay, you may also have topics that deals with ego problem, anger issues, because these are topics that anybody or everybody can connect with. So the very first element in your speech must to have a universal message. Number 2, and I call it C cube. C cube stands for clarity, credibility, connection. What does clarity stand for? Clarity means the clarity of your thoughts or the clarity of your message. Now, let me give you an example. Sometimes when we write speeches, the message is very clear in our mind. Okay, and we think that, oh my God, I have the most brilliant message ever. So it is clear in our mind, it is clear in our thoughts. But when we put it in words and try to convey it, and if we are presenting it to, let's say, 10 people, and right now we have got 81 people here, and if I'm going to present a speech thinking that my message is the brilliant message I have, but later on when I would ask feedback, 81 people would give me 81 different messages because they have understood it in a different way. Which means your message is not clear. Either you put it in wrong words, or you have not structured it properly, or your stories are not supporting the message you're trying to convey. So the clarity of message is very, very important. And that is why it is always suggested, from my experience, to take one single story. There are a lot of people who come to me and say that, you know what, I have got 2 messages to share in the story. No, when you do that, you actually dilute everything. And now your audience is confused. What exactly are you trying to convey? And that is why I always suggest to take one single story that can convey one single message. So clarity of message is very, very important. Number 2 is credibility. Many contestants do not pay attention on the credibility part. And if you look at the judges' ballot, I will come to the judges' ballot later, but there is something called original thought in judges' ballot. Many judges here, I don't know if they have actually paid attention to that particular point. There is something called original thought. Original thought is related to both your speech content and your speech delivery, which means how original your topic is, okay, how original your speech content is, and how authentic and original your presentation is. Let me give you an example. Every topic would sound similar. Okay, if you have 10 contestants in a contest, 2 will be talking about failure and challenges. There will be 2 who would be touching upon helping and reaching out. So you will find the topics are all similar. But where will you go for the originality part? The originality lies in the way it is presented, in the way the story is structured. Okay, so my story, my topic of helping other people is not a new concept. Many contestants before me, they have spoken on helping others, each other. But the way I put it, using the card as a metaphor, was an original idea. And that is how I'm establishing my credibility as a speaker. People would start believing me because my topic is not a unique topic, but the way I put it is original. That is the originality of your content. Next is the originality in your presentation. I have seen many contestants, they watch all these YouTube videos of the past world champions, and then they pick their body mannerisms or they pick something from their presentation style and they do it thinking that nobody else in the world has watched that YouTube video. My dear friends, for God's sake, everybody is using social media these days. Everybody is going and watching not only the world championships, there are so many other videos available. So if you think that you have only watched this particular person's video and you took something from there and you put it in during your contest, somebody would look at it and they will mark you down in original thought. Judges are smart. I believe our judges are smart. If not the judges, your fellow contestants are there to protest on originality. Okay, so you will lose marks in original thought. You will lose your credibility as a speaker. Again, in credibility, I would like to highlight that there are contestants who just go onto the stage and self-glorify themselves. Okay, I did that, I achieved this. No. You are not the hero of your story. You are not standing there to self-boast. People want to see your vulnerable side. I could have said that, I was traveling to Nashville and this lady came up to me and I was so ready to help her that I said that, don't worry, Feli, I have the card with me. Go and use it as much as possible. No, I was not ready to help her. And that is the bad side of me. It took me a while to realize that it is so important to help other people, and people want to see that vulnerability in you. When I went to learn kickboxing, I didn't say that I was fit enough to learn kickboxing. No, I wasn't. And I didn't say that after I realized how it is important to pay gratitude to our challenges, I didn't say that, I fought a fight with my coach and I won. I won the kickboxing championship. No. What I said is, I started to do my exercises properly. I started learning kickboxing properly. I didn't say that I became a champion after 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Okay. So there I established my credibility. So please do not stand on the stage to self-boast or glorify yourself. You are not the hero of your story. Let me tell you, let me make this very, very clear. And that is how you're going to establish the credibility, your credibility as a speaker. And the third thing is connection. Connection can happen in many ways. The way you put your personal story, and that is why we say that you need to have a personal story to connect with the audience. But again, you cannot always connect with your personal story, but the connection can happen when you bring in emotions in your story. Okay, when you bring in emotions and emotional content, there are chances that you will connect with your audience. Now here, it's one point that I want to make it clear for everybody. When I say emotional content, and since we all come from Asia, India, we believe emotions mean to make people cry. I remember back in those days when I used to give my speeches, people would come and say that, oh, Nisha, there was no emotional content. Why? Because I failed to make them cry. That is not emotional content means. Emotional content, when people feel overwhelmed, probably with happiness, with sorrow, with shock, with surprise. When you are participating in an international speech contest, you have to think international. Our emotions are not the same as the emotions of an American or of a European. So if I'm standing there on the stage and crying, literally killing somebody in my speech, and I say, oh my God, he died, this will not go well with the people sitting there. Try and understand. So the moment you decide to participate in an international speech contest, you have to practice this from the club level itself. I remember in 2012 when I participated in the international speech contest and I had no idea what the speech contest is all about. One feedback that I received was the story was about my fight with my friend, and one of the feedback that I received was to kill my friend because there was no death in the speech. So if there is no death, people will not cry. If people will not cry, you will not win. And I thought, okay, probably that is how we have to present speeches. And I killed my friend. The friend who is living happily with her family in India, I killed her. And there are a lot of contestants who do that. They have deaths. It's okay. But you should not be overdoing it. You should not be overacting, okay, to bring in emotions or to make people cry. So please, connection, when I say connection, you need to have emotional content, but you should not be overdoing it. Think international, think global when you are planning to participate in an international speech contest, because our emotions are different from their emotions. So that was the second element, which I call C-Tube. And the third element, the most important thing, is there is no secret behind a winning speech. All you have to do is to follow the judge's ballot. Everything is right there. And I will explain each and every section in judge's ballot one by one. Now, how many of you are planning to participate in the international speech contest next year? Let me see who all I will be competing with. Okay, Toastmaster Nadeem is there. Who else? Only one person? Okay. Toastmaster Rituji. Rituji is there. All right.
Mumtaz Anis, I see, and then
Toastmaster from
Ananta Lakshmi also.
Yeah.
okay, Ananta Lakshmi. We have Mumtaz.
Mehta Balan.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. How many of you, honestly, keep a hand on your heart and tell me, how many of you are planning to write a speech that will make a difference in other people's life, or that will you are planning to write a speech that will create a difference in the world? Honest answer. That I have a speech. Okay, ask yourself and tell me, I have a speech that, that I believe that will make a difference in some people's life, that will make a difference in the world.
It's literally just bread. Because your mind is fixated only on the bread and butter. That's tough.
I can't hear you. Sudhir, is that Sudhir? Tell me, who all think that they have a speech? It's a world-changing speech or a life-changing speech. No one? No one? Do you think we should have a life? Okay, Ananta Lakshmi has, and I think Tausif has. Okay. All right. Okay. You don't need a life-changing speech. Okay. Because this is a contest. Nobody has changed the world. Contestant. Okay. I'm talking about the contestant. No contestant has changed lives, or no contestant has changed the world with their winning speech. Let me tell you. Honestly, I have listened to so many speeches. I have listened to Toastmaster Dhananjay. I have listened to Mohammad Khatani and everybody. I just listened, I clapped, and I forgot. And that is what is going to happen. Remember, you're going for a contest. And like any other competition, there are certain rules that you need to follow, and you have to play better than any other contestants in the contest and win. What is the objective of a contest? To compete, and if you are good enough, you will win. It's as simple as that. The problem begins when you start thinking that I'm going to do something great with my speech. And that is where you start writing something which either you do not relate to or people do not relate to. You start thinking of big subjects. You start thinking of complicated things because you want to have a life-changing speech. Now, if you understand the judge's ballot and if you write a speech that ticks all the boxes in the judge's ballot, you are there. You can have an ordinary speech like, how the washing machine gets broken, and from there a speech comes out, and that's it. It meets the judge's ballot and you are there. All you have to do is to see whether your speech meets the criteria or not. So what is this judging criteria all about? Okay, and let me go back to the last section in the judge's ballot. We have 3 sections in the judge's ballot. Number 1 is the content that carries 50 marks, then our delivery that carries 30 marks, and the language that carries 20 marks. So let me start with the language part that carries only 20 marks. People think, 20 marks, so easy to get 20 marks. Believe me, it's not that easy. The moment we see international speech contest language, we try to transform ourselves into somebody who is an expert in English language. We try to prove our linguistic skill to everybody. We may not understand complicated words, but then in the speech contest, we will try to use big words and complex words because we want to prove that, we have a great command over English language. That is not what the judge's ballot says. And if there are judges, I want you to pay attention to this. Again, in a speech contest, your audience are your judges. Not your club members, not the people sitting there whistling, clapping, hooting. No, it's your judges. And unfortunately, if your judge does not understand what you are saying, then it's done. 2012, I went for my district contest in Bahrain. And let me tell you, I had such a beautiful speech. That's what I thought, with some big words and complex words, rhetorical devices. I went there, I lost in the finals, and later on I received the feedback from one of the judges that they did not understand what I said because of the words, because of the language that I used. So the language category in the judge's ballot says only 2 things. 1, you use words that is appropriate to the audience that you're dealing with. So if you are in a club where you find that there are multinationals in your club, you must use words and language that they would understand. I have seen contestants in the past. Now I'm not seeing those contestants using these kind of words. In the past, people would use their local words. So I have seen people using beta, molu, mone. We are talking about international speech contest. Please avoid using these kind of local words in your language. Try to use words that is appropriate to the audience you are dealing with. Number 1. Second category is correct grammar and pronunciation. So what to do for the pronunciation part? And that is why it is advisable to use short words. Don't use long words. Short words, short sentences. Each sentence should have up to only 10 words, not more than 10 words, and short sentences. So all those long sentences that you have using, not only, but also, and, however, you try to connect sentences and make it a big paragraph, please avoid doing that, because your judges or your audience should be able to absorb what you're saying and understand it. So keep your language, keep your words simple and easy to understand. Do not try to show off your language skills. Otherwise, you will get into trouble. Okay, so that is language part. Next, let's move on to the content that carries 50 marks. In the content itself is divided into 3 parts. The judge's ballot is there in the message chat box, and you can download it. The content itself is divided into 3 parts: speech development, speech effectiveness, and speech value. Speech development is all about how you structure your thoughts. And when I say structuring, everything should be put it in a way that it is connected, and it should be able to, people should be able to understand what you are saying. And when we talk about the structure of the speech, it starts with the introduction, and then it moves to the body of the speech and conclusion. We all know that. Now, what is the objective of an introduction? What do you think is the objective of an introduction? Who can tell me?
To engage the audience.
To engage the audience, correct. My dear friends, remember, the attention span of a human mind is just 8 seconds. Remember this. So if you can get their attention within those 8 seconds in the beginning, they will listen to their speech. They will listen to your speech. Otherwise, you will lose your audience. So in those 8 seconds, you have to grab their attention so much so that they become hungry to listen to your speech further. Sometimes some people have such a long introduction, or, the introduction is so bland, I would say, or boring, that they just lose their audience. Again, which audience am I talking about? The judges. In a speech contest is the judges. So the main objective of the introduction is to just capture the attention of the audience. And the easiest way to capture the attention of your audience is to start with a question. The easiest way. Okay. So you can have a question introduction in the beginning, or you can try with a joke. If you are good at cracking jokes, please try it. But make sure that the joke is just a one-liner or probably two-liners, not more than that. You cannot take 7 minutes or to crack the joke, okay? So just few seconds for that joke. You can also start with a shocking statement. Something shocking that would really shatter the thought process of your audience, and they would be like, oh my God, is it? Okay, let me listen to this speaker. A shocking statement. Or you can start with a song, okay, like how I did in my Dream Safari speech. I started with a song from the movie The Lion King. Or you can start with a dance movement. If you are good at dance movement, you can do with that. You can start with a role play, a dialogue exchange. Or you can start with the part of the story. So you can pick a part of the story and start your speech. How I did it in my race speech. I started with, running the race and then stopping, and then I continued with the rest of the story. So these are the different ways of starting the speech or writing an introduction. Recently, I did a workshop on speech crafting in Kerala. And I was explaining these things to the audience, and I said that you can have a song, you can have a dance, you can start with a question, you can start with a joke. At the end, one gentleman came and he wanted to present his speech. He started off with a song, a Hindi movie song. And then he went on to the story that has absolutely no connection with the introduction. So just because Nisha Shivram said you can sing, he sang, and then he went on to say something which had absolutely no connection. And I thanked him for doing that, because then it gave me an opportunity to tell everybody that this is not how you have to do it. Your introduction should match with the topic or the story you are going to share. Please do not come up with a random introduction just because somebody told you that you can crack a joke. You brought a joke, Santa joke, which has no connection with the story that you're going to share with the audience. Everything should be well connected with each other. So make sure that whatever introduction you choose, it should be connected either with the topic you are tackling, or with your story, or with the message that you want to deliver. Okay? After the introduction, when you move on to the body of the speech, see, this is the major part in your speech, the biggest chunk. And this is where we add stories and examples. And as I suggested earlier, it is always better to have one single story, one single personal story, because people want to listen to your story. Now, how to write a story? That is also important to learn, that how can I make my story interesting? Remember, in a story, there are different elements, and the very first element in story writing is a problem. So in every story that you write, you must address a problem. For example, in my speech, Swipe, what was the problem I was dealing with? Can anyone tell me? Nobody has watched my Swipe speech? Oh my God. What was the problem? Attitude.
Gratitude to
Gratitude. No, I'm asking about the problem.
Okay.
What is the problem I'm addressing?
Helping.
There was a
Somebody was
lady
asking for help. That lady was asking for help
You are
continuously.
reluctant to help.
Christopher says money. Okay. No, Christopher, no.
To help.
Yeah, I was not ready to help. I hesitated to help. That was the problem I was addressing. Okay. And when I say problem, there are two types of problems. One is the inner problem, a problem within me, and only I can control it. And there is an outer problem, which is not within me and I cannot control it. So in my speech, I had both inner problem and outer problem. Inner problem was I was hesitant to help someone. The outer problem was people were coming to me for help. Okay, I could not control it. What I could control is my inner problem, whether I want to help this lady or not. So that is the problem I'm dealing with. So every time you write a story, make sure that you address a problem. Now, when there is a problem, there must be a solution, isn't it? Okay, you just cannot leave the audience saying that, oh, this is the problem I'm addressing. Now, people want to know, okay, what is the solution to this particular problem? Because there are people who have the same problem in the audience. So what should they do? So in my Swipe speech, the solution was to just help somebody without expecting anything. And I realized it when Feli brought food for me. So Feli, who came from a poor family, and without having enough money, she had the heart to help me with food. And that is when I realized that we can also do it. And that is the solution to my problem, that I should not be expecting anything in return, and I should be helping with whatever I have in my capacity. So that is the solution to that particular problem. So once you give the solution, now what is the audience looking for? And this is the most important part in the story. You cannot, in a speech contest especially, you cannot have a perfect story without this particular element.
Message?
So, no. So we had a problem. We had a solution. Now what is the audience looking for?
conclusion.
Have we implemented the solution?
How you
Humor.
help?
Neeraj, sir. Neeraj says humor. No, sir.
Take away.
No.
No. Have we implemented that solution?
Exactly. So they are looking for the transformation happened in my life when I applied that solution to my life. Did I change, or am I still hesitant to help people? If I don't tell you that, no, I have changed now, I help people, they are not going to believe you. So that is why in the conclusion, I mentioned that when I landed in Nashville airport, I helped a young lady with, holding her twin babies, and she could get her luggage. I helped an old woman fill the form while she sat and sipped her coffee. So I had to show my transformation, that now I have changed. Unless and until you show the transformation, your story is not complete. So this is the format we follow when we write stories for speeches. So you need to have a problem, a solution, and your transformation. Now, in order to make your story even more interesting, you can have characters. So I had Feli in my speech as a character. Okay, I had my coach in my kickboxing speech. I had my coach. So you can have a character. Now, this character can be a positive character or a negative character. This character can be somebody who would say, yes, Naila, you can do it. I know you have it in you. Or this can be a negative character who can say, no, this is not your cup of tea. You just leave it. Don't worry about it. So any sort of character. And when you have a character in your speech, very, very important, do a character description. Describe that character so that people would visualize the character on the stage and they will always remember the character. So when I said Feli was a tiny lady with a shabby clothes, in baggy clothes and a shabby bag, which means she had oversized clothes and a dirty looking bag. She was carrying a dirty bag. Okay, so now we can picture Feli on the stage. In the same way, when I said my coach was huge and heavy and he looked like Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, but with hair. Now people, start visualizing Dwayne Johnson with hair. So you have to describe the character because that makes your speech memorable and interesting. And it also adds some drama and humor in the speech. All right. When you have characters, you can also add some dialogues. But please remember, not more than 3 dialogues, otherwise your speech will turn into drama. And we are not doing a mono act or drama there. We are presenting a speech. So 3 dialogues, enough. So this is how we have to build the story in the body of the speech. Now, the next thing in the speech structure is the conclusion. Somebody said conclusion, right? So conclusion. And then, let me just spill the beans here. Conclusion is the most important part in the speech because that is when your audience, judges would ultimately wake up. I'm not blaming them. It's a huge responsibility on their head to pick the winner. And if there are 10 contestants, and if you do not have an effective, interesting speech, they will lose, you will lose your audience. There are chances that they may not pay attention to all the details. But at the conclusion, they will wake up because now they have to mark the judges' ballots. It's very important. I'm not joking. I'm not kidding. I'm not blaming them. And that is why, as a speaker, you must have a strong, powerful conclusion. So even if they forgot your story, even if they have forgotten the introduction, even if they have forgotten the characters, they will remember the conclusion. It is very, very important. So the conclusion should be crisp. Please do not go on explaining a lot of things in the conclusion. Your message should be clear in the story itself. You don't have to explain a lot in the conclusion, but it should be crisp, clear, and it should be presenting, you should present it with conviction. People will always remember swipe. People will always remember listen to the noises around you. I didn't say anything in the conclusion. I just did this. Okay, so you need to have a unique way of concluding your speech, either by keeping quiet or by doing an action that will be there in their minds forever, or by giving a powerful statement that will have everything about your story and the topic, that will convey the message directly, but make it crisp and clear. Okay, and don't forget, conclusion is the most important part in the speech, at least in the speech contest. So clear? The speech structuring, development is fine? Okay, now let's move on to the speech effectiveness. And to find out whether your speech is effective or not, you just have to look at the judge's ballot at the back side, and you will find a question that says, is your story interesting enough to hold your audience's attention from the beginning till the end? The moment you open your mouth till the end, are they glued to your speech? What does that mean? That means your speech should be like a Bollywood masala movie. It should have humor, drama, emotions, action, a lot of things happening in that speech, and that is what is going to make your speech effective. Now, how do I test the speech effectiveness? I had said this before, and I'm just giving this tip to you all. You should try this speech in different clubs, in front of different audience, and see whether they are liking it or not. If you find people looking at you and then looking at their mobile phones or yawning or looking here and there, you need to know that your speech is not that interesting. You need to work on that. And what I do is, I present my speech in front of my kids. My daughter is just 7 years old and my son is 9. So if they sit there for 7 minutes and 30 seconds and listen to my speech carefully, which means my speech is effective. If a 7-year-old can sit and listen, a 70-year-old will definitely listen. That means my speech has the elements to keep a kid glued to the speech. Okay, so it has drama, it has humor, it has all the body language gestures, everything. So, okay, fine. Speech effectiveness is done. So you need to check the effectiveness of your speech by attending different club meetings and presenting it in front of different set of people and take feedback from them. Next is speech value. Speech value is your takeaway message, your call of action. What exactly do you want your audience to do? And in order to do that, you should be clear in your mind, what am I trying to convey here? What is the purpose of presenting this speech? Do I want people to persuade or something? Do I want people to work on their dreams? Do I want people to get entertained through my speech? Every speech has got two purposes, okay? One is a general purpose and second is a specific purpose. So when we go onto the stage, I have a purpose, and my general purpose always is to entertain the audience. And to entertain the audience, I will do everything. You will see me running on the stage. You will see me doing all the acrobats on the stage. That is my purpose, is to entertain the audience. But again, I always have a specific purpose. So in the speech swipe, my purpose was to tell people that we all have something to share with others, and we should be helping each other. That was my specific purpose. In my speech, Arigato, at the district, my specific purpose was to tell people that we should always be grateful to the challenges that we face, because of the challenges, we are what we are. Okay, so this is the specific purpose. So you need to understand, why am I presenting this speech? What is the general purpose of the speech and what is the specific purpose? So this was the content, 50 marks. Now let's move on to the delivery, which carries 30 marks. Again, many contestants work hard on the content part. They bring fabulous stories. They structure it so effectively. They have great words. Everything in the content is perfect. But ultimately, the person who wins the speech contest is the one who delivers the best. It all depends on your speech delivery. You can go back and watch all the YouTube videos. Delivery matters more than content. They say content is king, but it's the delivery. Okay, so what exactly should we focus on when it comes to delivery? Again, there are three things. It's your voice, your physical, which is your body, and the third is your mannerism. And I can tell you from my experience all these years, contestants do not pay attention to the mannerism. They don't pay attention to the mannerism. So what does this mannerism mean? Mannerism means your appearance on the stage and the way you exhibit confidence. So when you come on the stage, see, your body language is deceiving. Body language is a very dangerous thing. The moment you come on the stage, and if you're nervous, you would adjust your coat. You will, if there are, if the ladies are there, they will adjust their hair, or they will touch their nose. These are all different negative body mannerisms that give a hint to the audience that you are not confident, you are nervous. Mannerism carries a lot of marks. I don't know how our judges judge here, but on the international stage, it carries a lot of marks. The way your physical appearance matters a lot. So they look at your dressing. Okay, they look at whether your attire is appropriate, or should you be wearing this because your speech content is this. For my semi-final speech last year, the race, I was wearing the tracksuit because I was running. So my attire was actually conveying the message of the speech. Okay, so you have to look at things like what you're wearing. Are you comfortable in what you are wearing? Is it appropriate to the audience? Is it appropriate to the speech content? And the way you go there and stand, the very first thing is your posture. When you go there and stand on the stage, please avoid standing clasping your hand like this, because this is a sign of nervousness. You may have a leadership pose where you can keep your fingers like this right in front of your abdomen. However, let me warn you, in Toastmasters, people may not agree to this pose. This is a leadership pose. Okay, so when you stand like this, there are chances that people would say, oh, okay, she's clasping her hands. Okay, she's nervous. So don't take that risk. What you can do is you can go there and stand with your fingers slightly curled, not rigid, and on the side. Okay, as we stand in the attention position, but not attention like attention as army officers, but relaxed. And balancing your whole body on both the legs, which means there should be a small gap between the legs where they should see that you are balancing your whole body on both legs. So this is how you have to stand on the stage. Comfortable, relaxed. And the moment you reach the stage, please wait for your contest chair to settle down. Don't be in a rush to start your speech immediately. Once your contest chair announces your speech title, your name, and goes back and takes her or his seat, you take few more seconds, wait for few more seconds. Okay, and there is a formula that you can follow while standing there. This formula is known as 4S. So what does this 4S stand for? The first S is to stand in a correct posture. Number one. Second is to stare at your audience. Now, here it does not mean you have to literally stare at somebody, which means you have to look around. Look around. Third S, smile. When you smile, somebody would smile back at you, and that would make you, comfortable. Okay, so smile, and then you start speaking. So you can take 5 to 6 seconds to do it. Don't worry, the timer will not start the timing unless and until you start speaking or you do something that is related to your speech. Okay, so you take few seconds to do this, and then you can start your speech. So do not be in a rush to start it immediately. Let's move on to the voice part. Often people think, and contestants think, that public speaking is all about speaking all the time. Okay, and it's a speech contest, so I have to speak. I have got only 7 minutes. I have got so many things to say. No. Remember, in a speech contest, since you have got only 7 minutes and 30 seconds, first of all, don't take the risk of finishing your speech beyond 7 minutes. The moment you see the red light, you should be done with your speech, because this 30 seconds, you never know when this 30 seconds just fly away. Okay, so 7 minutes. Let's take 7 minutes. In a 7-minute speech, the word count should be somewhere between 500 to 550. That's it. I know many would say, how is it possible? I've got so many things to say. No, You should now start learning how to say a lot of things in less words. You are a toastmaster and you all have been preparing speeches and presenting. You should now learn how to say a lot of things in less words. Say more in less words. And please make sure that maximum 550 words. Why? Because in between your speech, you must take pauses. And I'm using the word must. Pauses are very important and the most integral part of speaking. Silence is powerful. But at the same time, you should know when and where to pause. Is it not? So there are two types of pauses. One is a short pause and the other is a long pause. Short pauses somewhere between 3 to 5 seconds and a long pause somewhere between 6 to 8 seconds. Now the question is, okay, Nisha, if I'm taking a pause, should I look at my watch and see if I have completed 6 seconds or 5 seconds? No, you should be counting in your mind. Okay, so you take a pause. Let's say you took a 4-second pause. You take a pause and count 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, while taking a pause, what would you be doing? What would you be doing? You would be looking at your audience. So I'm giving you so many tips, knowing that you all will be competing. We all will be competing, huh? Okay. Somebody should pay me for this. Okay. So what you have to do is, the moment you get onto the stage, and when you are doing that 4S formula, you divide the entire hall in 3 to 4 directions. Okay. And every time you take a pause, you should look at these people. So let's say that you have taken a 4-second pause. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So in that way, you are maintaining eye contact and you are also taking a pause. So it's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Okay, so this is how you have to manage everything, eye contact and pauses. And your long pause should somewhere be between 6 to 8 seconds. Again, you should know how to maintain eye contact while taking a pause. All these things will only happen with practice. So you have to practice every time you present a speech. Now, where to take a pause? Please take a pause whenever you are asking a question to the audience, because you have to give them time to think. Now, your audience will not answer, okay, will not reply to you. Don't wait for their replies, but they will definitely reply in their own mind. So that is what you have to do. You have to, break their thought process. So give them time. Please take a pause when you are cracking a joke. Let them understand the joke and laugh. Now, there are chances people may not laugh, but you should not get disheartened. Still, you have to give them at least 4 to 5 seconds to understand. Whether they laugh or not, it's their problem, okay? But give them time. Pause when you have an important message. Please pause. Let them understand your message. Pause when you have dialogues, okay? When you have 2 characters and the characters have dialogues, take a pause between these dialogues. Your audience should understand who spoke when. They should not get confused. And the last pause you can take before you conclude the speech, so that the audience should understand that, okay, now the story is done, story is finished, and the speaker is now moving on to the conclusion or going to end the speech. So the transition will become smooth and clear. Okay? Next very important thing in voice is giving a peculiar voice to the character. Many people do that. I have done it. And I remember when I used to give voices to the character, people would come and say, "Oh my God, Nisha, great voice modulation." Oh my God, that's not voice modulation, that's mimicry. Voice modulation is different from mimicry. You don't have to change voices all the time. I used to do it. I have stopped doing it now because I realized that this is not how you should be doing it. Okay. and it should not, it doesn't look good all the time. So changing voices as per the character is mimicry. If it suits you, if you think you can do it, if it suits the character, well and good, you can do it, but don't overdo it. Okay. The next thing in voice modulation you should be paying attention is your pace. Don't be too fast and don't be too slow. But at the same time, you can pace up and down. For example, if there is anything exciting in your speech, where you are excited, you're happy, you are overjoyed, you can increase your pace. If you're shocked, surprised, angry, you can increase your pace. When you're disappointed, sad, you have to bring your pace down. You have to be slow in speaking. Okay, so please pay attention to the pacing of your speaking. Now move on to the body language. Body language starts with your posture. I already explained how to stand and what should be your standing position, how to keep, where to keep your hands and everything. Next thing in body language are the gestures, the movement of your hand, head and shoulder. Okay. And I have seen contestants having hand movements for every word they say. Everything they say, they will use these hand gestures. Make sure that your hand movements are natural and timely, which means when I say that he was a tall man, the moment I say tall, my hand should go up. It should be timely. When I say that it was a small box, the moment I say small, my hand should show that description. It shouldn't be like, I'm saying, oh, it was a small box. 2 seconds later, I realize, oh my God, I have to show. And then I'm showing it. It is not timely. Okay, so it should look natural and it should be timely. And in public speaking, especially in speech contests, we use descriptive gestures more. Descriptive gestures when we are describing a person's appearance, when we are describing a thing, object, or a distance. When I say that it was far away, so I'm using my hand to show the distance. Okay, so descriptive gestures are used more in public speaking. Always remember to have wide gestures. When I say wide, there should be a gap between your hand and your body. Your gesture should not be very close to your body unless you say, I don't know, it's okay. When you do that, I don't know, it's fine. Otherwise, you need to have wide gestures because this shows confidence and this shows that you are accepting your audience. You're open to your audience. Okay, so please remember that. Don't have restricted gestures. Next is stage movement. And recently I witnessed, many people came to me and told me that how their evaluators told them to move on the stage, making W, making M, or move back and front. And I said, no, this is not how you use the stage. Stage choreography is a completely different ball game. And in order to move on the stage with a purpose, there are two things that you must look into, is your story and your characters. So you have to position your story on the stage and position your characters on the stage. So for example, when I was traveling from Qatar to Nashville, I had positioned my Qatar airport story on one part of the stage. So that is where I met Feli. I had an interaction with her and she asked me for help. When I reached London, I changed my position and I made the center part of the stage London, where I had all these card exchange thing with Feli. Okay. When I reached Nashville, I moved a little further and positioned my Nashville story on the other end of the stage. So in this way, I positioned 3 stories on the stage and I used the stage. I was not running here and there on the stage. In the same way, I had positioned Feli on my left-hand side. So when I introduced Feli came on the left-hand side. So Feli was here. Throughout the speech, whenever I mentioned Feli was on the left-hand side. I didn't change Feli's position. So positioning of the character is very important. Why? Because the moment you introduce your character and position in the beginning, it will always remain in your audience's mind. You're playing with your audience's mind. Remember that this is part of neuro-linguistic programming. We call it anchoring. So the moment you position the character, it gets anchored in your audience's mind. So later on, if you change the position, so if I bring Feli from the left side to the right hand side, my audience will get confused. When did that happen? Because in their mind, Feli was always on the left hand side. Unless I tell them that Feli moved to this side and came from here, then it's okay. Otherwise, be very careful. So positioning the story and positioning the characters are very important. Position them properly and move as per the position. Okay, in that way, you will be using your stage with a purpose. Next thing, facial expressions. Some people are blessed with a beautiful smile on their face and they keep on smiling 24/7. It's a good thing. But when you are talking about something sad in your story, and if you have the same smiling expression, it's a mismatch. So make sure that your facial expressions match your words. And you can say a lot of things just by using your facial expressions. You don't even have to use words. So the moment Feli said she needs help, and I said, oh, of course, Feli, I will help you. And I changed my expression to show that I'm not very happy helping her. So I didn't say that I don't want to help her. I just changed my expression. Okay, so there I reduce the word count. So you can do a lot by using your facial expressions. So these are the elements in your judge's ballot that once you take care of, your speech will turn into a winning speech. And you have to make sure that you follow the rules and play better than any other contestants in your club, area, division, district, and beyond. So that's all from my side. I hope you have taken down all the notes, and I'm opening the floor for question and answer session. We have our Toastmaster Naila Rizwan to conduct the session. Thank you and best wishes to each one of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Master Nisha, for that wonderful session. I hope our members are going to not just take notes, but implement those points so that we have some great speeches coming up during the upcoming contest. So I will be moderating the Q&A session today, and I have a few questions that have come through the chat. I will do that first, and if anyone else wants to ask a question directly, please raise your hand and I will call up your name and then you can unmute and ask your question directly. Okay, so the first question that I received was, how can we ensure as contestants that judges have followed the criteria?
That is why we have judges training. That needs to be conducted very seriously. And that's why every person, whether they are taking part in the contest or whether they are judging or not, they should attend this judges training to understand what exactly judges are supposed to do and how are they supposed to do it. So it is all the responsibility of the district leaders to make sure that it happens, and everybody, and this is my humble request. I used to attend judges training before. Now, due to my time restriction, I'm not able to, I could not attend past few sessions, but this is my request to everybody here to attend judges training, whether you are taking up the judges role or not, whether you're contesting or not, but you should understand how the judging is done.
Okay, thank you. Next question is how to have a smiling face while delivering the speech and not to look down.
It all comes with practice. See, I'll tell you, you have your club, you have your area, you have your division, and there's so many clubs in this district. things become difficult when you only appear during contest. There are members who I see only during contest season. They come and they present their speeches and then they go back to their own, whichever place they are. Unless and until you practice speaking in every meeting, or you take the opportunity to speak, take feedback, very important, take feedback from people and improve upon your speaking, all these things will not, you will not improve upon all these things. So if you believe that you are not able to have a smile on your face because you are standing on the stage and you are nervous, that nervousness will go only when you keep on speaking in your clubs and your areas. You take up speaking roles. You will stop looking down when you practice speaking, because somebody will give you feedback that, see, this is your problem. You're always looking down. Unless and until you know that, you will never work on it. So all the new members here who have recently joined, all the senior members, all the DTMs, just because you have become DTM, don't stop going to clubs and taking up speaking roles. Please keep on practicing, and only then you will improve upon your speaking and communication skills.
Okay, so I hope that point is answered. Next question is pacing up and down. Is that allowed? Many evaluators tell the speakers to move only left and right, that is sideways movement. Can you please explain this point once more?
As I said, pacing up and down, if you're doing it all the time, if you're moving just here left and right, it doesn't make any sense, okay? Stage movement should be done, again, I explained it earlier, there should be a purpose in your movement. And it will only look purposeful when you will position your stories and position your characters and move accordingly. When the evaluator tells you to move left and right, I don't want to comment, but the evaluators should understand stage dynamics. They should learn stage dynamics and then give proper feedback to the speakers, because when you mislead, then it becomes very difficult for somebody else to come and correct them, because they already have a feedback to do things like this. Okay, so it is very important that evaluators, before they evaluate a particular project, they should read it, understand it, and they should first go and learn what exactly are they going to provide feedback on, and then they provide correct feedback to the speakers. And pacing up and down, moving left and right, it's not the right way to move on the stage. You have to move with a purpose, and to do that, position the story, position the characters, and then your movements will become correct.
Okay, thank you. Next one, how can we motivate ourselves to practice the same speech for 100 times? What is your secret?
If you want to win, you must practice. It's simple, right? Now, Usain Bolt had run, he finished his 100 meters in 9 seconds or 9 seconds or something. Now, do you think that one fine day he woke up and he decided, okay, today is my finals, I will run 9 seconds? No. For 4 long years, he practiced every single day the same speed. So if you want to win, you have to practice. And practice as many times as possible. When I take part in the speech contest, only when it's time for my contest. For example, if my contest is tomorrow, I practice like twice or thrice in a day. Okay, I reduce my practice sessions when it comes closer to the date of my contest. Otherwise, I practice 10 to 12 times a day daily. Because every time we practice, we find something new to do. And you should practice the way you are going to present it on your final day. You should not be thinking that, okay, on the final day on the stage, I will do something. No, it doesn't happen. Especially when you are a beginner. So practice as many times as possible. Practice in front of the video camera. Now we have the facility to record videos. So please do it. Please check yourself. Please watch your video and see what you can work on. What are the areas of improvement? Sit with your mentor, sit with your coach and work on those things. But practice as many times as possible.
Okay. Next, is if the speech is not a story, how to position oneself on the stage.
If the speech is not a story, why not a story? My question is, why not a story? Storytelling is an important part of speaking. And it's not just Toastmasters International. It's not just international speech contest. Everywhere you go, you attend corporate trainings, you go to corporate trainers, you go to world-class coaches. They will ask you to add stories. Even when you're doing a sales presentation, technical presentations, they will ask you to add examples and stories. So stories are very, very important. So please don't say that if there is no story. And I tell this to my students, if you don't find a story, make it up. Make it up, but make sure that there is a story in your speech, because stories will make your speech memorable, interesting, and help you to connect with the audience. So there must be a story, because if you're not presenting a story, it means you are just presenting an essay on a topic. Okay. Now, coming back to your question, if there is no story, then how to position? There would be some major points. Let's say that you're presenting a speech where there are no stories, but you have major points in the speech. So you can divide the stage as per the points. So let's say you have 3 major points. So you can use one side of the stage to explain that one particular point. Once that point is done, take a pause, move on to the center of the stage, then present the second point. Once that point is done, take a pause, come to the next side, and present the third point. So in this way, you can present a speech which has got no story.
Okay. How much of the speech should be a conversational style speech? Because a lot of the speeches we see now are more like a mono act.
What is meant by conversational? Whoever has asked this question, I want to understand. Conversational can be 2 things. One, you have dialogues in the speech, okay? Or you have content where people feel that you are interacting with the audience. All right, so these 2 things. So both these things are conversational style of speaking. Now, to make it more conversational, you can include questions. You can include jokes where people feel that you are interacting with them, you're trying to make them laugh, or you're asking them questions, you are giving them time to think and answer. So including questions, including jokes, and including, expressions, gestures or facial expressions where people can feel that you are actually maintaining eye contact with them and saying something to them. That is how you can turn your speech into a conversational speech. Otherwise, as you correctly said, that it will look more like a mono act. And that is why I said, when you include dialogues, don't include too many dialogues into that speech. Otherwise, it would look like a drama. Don't overact. Okay, you need not have gestures and facial expressions for every single word that you say. So you should be limiting your gestures, limiting your expressions, and not overdoing it. Then it will not look like a mono act. Then it will look like a speech only.
Okay, so the next question is how to have a loud voice while delivering the speech.
Good question. And this goes back to the posture part, okay? Now, posture is the way you sit or stand. When you don't sit straight, when you don't stand straight, what you are doing is you are blocking oxygen, okay? We all are breathing, right? No doubt about it. But we are not breathing in the correct way. Why? Because we slouch. Sometimes we sit, we slouch and sit. Our shoulders are not straight. When we sit or stand in this position, we are not breathing properly. Unless and until you breathe properly, your voice will not come out effectively. And that is why speakers and singers are advised to do breathing exercises to improve their voice quality. And when I say voice quality, your voice should be loud, clear, and expressive. And in order to make your voice loud and clear, you have to continuously do some breathing exercises. And when you stand on the stage, stand in a correct posture, and your speech introduction or the first word that you utter should be in a higher pitch. The voice should come from within. The voice should not be coming from the throat. It should be coming from your navel point, and that is when your voice should be loud and clear. Now, during the speech, there can be moments where you will lose, where it would be difficult for you to breathe and the words do not come out properly. And that is why you have to take pauses. When you take pause, breathe properly, and then utter the next word. Okay, so it all depends on the way you breathe and how you do breathing exercises. Your voice will eventually improve.
Okay, the next question. In conclusion, what are the tips or technique for unique, powerful statement? Because most of the speakers, they are just repeating the familiar messages.
Conclusion is the portion where finally we get an opportunity to connect with the audience. So when I teach my students, I always say that since you cannot connect with the stories that you have shared with the audience, in the conclusion, what you can do is you can have questions to ask the audience. Okay, that is one way. You can ask 3 general questions that would connect them with the message that you are trying to deliver. Or 3 statements, again, 3 scenarios. You can take 3 scenarios from your life to connect with the audience. For example, when I said that we all have cards in our wallet, okay? It can be the card of your experience and expertise. It can be the card of your love and time, okay? It can be the card of your connections. So I gave examples for them to understand that what does this card mean? Clear? So in the same way, you can also have 3 scenarios from your life to connect with the audience, or you can ask 3 questions. So when I said that, this noise in my washing machine speech, when I said that this noise can be your child crying, this noise can be your spouse complaining to you, or this noise can be anybody with an emotional overload. But the question is, are you listening to those noises? So when I gave these 3 scenarios, people were able to connect. And this is how we can include everything that we want to say in these 3 things. So you can ask 3 questions, you can have 3 statements that would help them connect with your message and your topic, and you can conclude with your message. And remember, your foundational message should be within 10 words. Your foundational message should be within 10 words. Even lesser than 10 words, it would be better, so that people remember what you said in the conclusion. So you don't have to explain a lot of things. You can just put the message across and people will remember. So when in the end, in the washing machine speech, I didn't say anything. I just did this. Listen to the noises around you. People remember. When in the World Championship speech, I didn't say anything. I just said swipe. Okay, so it's just one word message. So you can end it that way. So in the conclusion, to make it easier, pick 3 questions or pick 3 statements or scenarios from your general life and try to connect with the audience, and keep your message within 10 words in the conclusion so that they remember what you said.
Okay. How many times should we revise the script in your experience?
Oh, you have to revise it every single time. So from club level, and I'm talking about the contest. So from the club level, you get feedback from people, you work on your speech, because in the next level, your audience will change. Okay. Your audience, again, when I say your judges will change, you will have a different scenario. So again, at the area level, you have to take the feedback, work on it. Division level, you have to take the feedback, work on it. District level, you have to take the feedback, work on it. And once you finish your division contest, you move to the district contest. Keep in mind, your speech can be the winning speech, and it will go beyond for the regional quarterfinals. So you have to present the speech at the district level in a way that you're presenting to the international audience. So every word matters there. So for example, when I presented my swipe speech at the division level, it was not swipe. It was, I have the card. And the currency we used was reals. But when I moved to the district stage, I changed reals to dollars and pounds because I knew that if I win, this will move to the regional quarterfinals, and I don't know where the judge would be coming from. Probably he would not understand reals. So I had to use dollars and pounds. In the same way, when I gave the race speech here, it was kilometers. The marathon was kilometers. But then when I went there, I changed it to miles because people there, they don't understand probably 10 kilometers. So I had to use the miles. Okay, so you have to take care. Once you cross the division level and move to the district, please revise and modify it as per the international audience. So every word matters. Look at it, and revision is needed, n number of times. You have to revise it every single time. Now, the question here is, how much feedback should I take? You should not be taking every feedback you receive. What I normally do is, when I present the speech in front of different set of people, I give them the feedback paper. Okay, I distribute a feedback paper, and I look at it, and if I see that more than 5 people are saying the same thing, then I must work on it. So if more than 5 people are saying that, Nisha, you are too fast, or the message is not clear, then I have to definitely work on it. But if you start taking feedback from everybody and start working on it, then ultimately it will become their speech. So don't do that. Okay. So please, you should listen to it. That does not mean that you should be arrogant and say, oh, I don't need his feedback. Listen to them, but make sure that you take feedback that would ultimately work for your, in your speech. And you should be comfortable taking it. Yeah.
What will be the distribution of time for opening and conclusion?
Thank you for, bringing this question. When I went to Kerala, somebody had the same question, and I told them this mathematical calculation does not work in speaking. Please do not get into it. Just remember that you have got 8 seconds to capture the attention of your audience. That is in the beginning. And you have got 7 minutes to finish your speech. And in 7 minutes speech means just stick to 550 words. You will get ample time to convey your message, take pauses, and finish your speech on time. It is utter stupidity to say that, oh, I will use 30 seconds in the introduction, 3 minutes in my body of the speech, and another one. It doesn't work that way. And my humble request, do not get into all these calculations. Just keep your word count between 500 to 550, and you will be able to do it.
While speaking, sometimes the mouth becomes dry. Please share some insights for this.
So it's when we get nervous, and especially in speech contests, we all get nervous, right? We have to finish the speech and finish it on time and everything. What I suggest is, and this advice was given to me by my mentor, Koka Prasad. He said, the moment you get onto the stage, you bite your tongue. Okay, side. When you bite your tongue, you get enough saliva. Okay, that will help you overcome the dryness. So every time you take pause, you bite it. So you will get enough saliva to remove that dryness. So this is one tip that I follow, and you can also try it.
Okay. Do we need to change our speech after winning area level or division level, as many of the audience and judges might have listened to it many times?
Well, I have not changed my speech. I have always gone with the same speech. And there is nothing wrong in changing the speech, and there is nothing wrong in continuing with the same speech. Why going ahead with the same speech is better? Because you get enough opportunities to work on the speech and modify it. So every time you're presenting the speech, you can modify it and make it look new. People should listen to your speech and think, oh, this was not the speech that she did last time. She has made many changes. But when you present a new speech, you don't know how people are going to receive it, whether it will be effective or not. And I'll give you an example. In 2017 in Bahrain, when I cleared my pre-finals, I changed my speech overnight. I brought a completely new speech, and that new speech was not presented anywhere. I had not tried it anywhere else. Nobody had ever listened to that speech, and that speech was titled Wabi Sabi. It was about imperfections that we have. I presented the speech thinking, my ego said, this is the best speech, Nisha. But it failed because, I did not have the feedback. I never worked on that speech. I never presented it in front of my mentor or anybody. So my suggestion would be to just continue with the same speech, modify it, make changes as per the feedback, improve it at every level, and go ahead.
Your thoughts on the importance of speech title? Any suggestions? We just have two more questions.
Speech titles, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, speech titles, as my coach has always told me, keep it short. One thing, keep it short, and keep it something that will create curiosity in your audience. Okay, they should not get the idea what exactly the speaker is going to speak on. But at the same time, the title should convey everything that you want to say. So it should have that suspense part, at the same time, everything that you want to say in your speech. So that is how you have to think of the title.
Okay, so this is the final question we have. What are the comments you received when you were placed second in the international speech contest? Maybe probably the feedback you received.
I was watching the speech right now before this session, and I felt so proud, a bit arrogance also, when people said, "Oh, she should have been placed first." And I said, yes, right. There were a lot of comments that I received, mainly for my attire, because that was something different that I did on the stage, and that was not intentional, that just happened. Second thing was how beautifully the speech was crafted. People loved the way we had crafted the speech, and we used card as the metaphor. And I would love to give the credit to distinguished Toastmaster Vinod Pisharam for that, because the amount of time I have put, I think he has put more time and effort from his side to help me with coming up with the metaphor and those words like the bank of humanity and there is credit for everybody. Those were not my ideas. Those were distinguished Toastmaster Vinod sir's idea. So I would like to give the credit to him, because that most of the comments came for the speech content, because it was so beautifully crafted. So yeah.
Okay, there's one final question. It's regarding how the contest goes beyond district level, not related to today's topic. Video recording goes to region, and how many contestants go to international speech. Like basically they are not familiar how the contest progresses after the district level. So yeah. I think I would suggest you can even go onto the TI website. Everything is written over there, but yeah, if you can just give it in a very short manner, probably it will be helpful.
Yeah. So after the district contest, the video recording of the winning speech is sent for the regional quarterfinals. Now, back in those days, the regional quarterfinals were conducted in person. Okay, I'm talking about 2009-10. Then they stopped doing it, and then there was a time when the district winners will be directly sent for the semi-finals. Okay, I never got an opportunity, but from 2019, they again started the regional quarterfinals, where the videos of the winners, the winning speeches, would be sent. So in our region, we have more than 10 districts or something. So 10 videos of the winners would be sent, and these are given to the judges, and the judges would look at it and they would pick 2 winners. Now, these winners are not placed first or second position. They will pick only 2 winners. And these 2 winners from every region would be sent for the semi-finals. So after region quarterfinals, we have semi-finals. So in total, we have 28 contestants in the semi-finals. And there are 4 semi-final rounds that happen, and each semi-finals there are 7 contestants participating, and from those 7 contestants, 2 winners are picked for the finals. So we have 8 contestants in the final round from different semi-final groups. So this is how it works after district.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That brings us to the end of the question and answer. So once again, thank you so much, Nisha, for that wonderful session. And thank God we are all part of the same district. So we are getting all this for free, even though, yes, I admit you need to be paid for all this. But I hope all our members will make use of these suggestions and tips and everything that was shared during the training session. So looking forward to more such wonderful trainings from the district. So with this, I will hand over back to our Program Quality Director, DTM Mangai.
Thank you so much, Nisha and Toastmaster Naila, for that wonderful session. Before I dwell into my gratitude note, let me ask you all, my dear friends, how many of you have registered for tomorrow's training? We have, wow, hands are going up. If you're thinking I'm just a contestant, why I have to attend a Chief Judge's training? Here, let me share this with you. The first one to register for it is our DTM Nisha. The reason being very, very crucial, my dear friends. Yes, you may be a contestant, but what you have learned is just 10% of the contest. There are many things that could, after taking care of all these things, could trip you down. The important rules, basics, what could disqualify us. We don't want to get into all those things, right? So it is necessary, even if you're just a contestant, to know the rules well, what your chief judge, what your judge is expecting from you. Understanding all these things will help you to have that strong footing on the stage. So I expect all of you to join us, and please do mark the dates we have shared well in advance for our trainings, district trainings, all planned just to benefit you. If you need something more to be added, we are open to feedback. We welcome your feedback, and looking at all your comments in the chat box, my heart is overwhelmed, and it all goes to you, DTM Nisha. Friends, please open all your cameras and videos. If you're not comfortable, at least open your audios and share your wishes to Nisha. It means a lot. Who will train, not only for the District 116, right? She goes all over the world to train her competitors. Amazing. Hats off. And we are truly grateful. We are proud of you, Nisha, and we wish you all good luck. And see
Thank you so much.
we will have the world champion from District 116 soon. It'll happen. Mark my words, and we all pray for it. God's willing. And with that, if host done with the photo session, let me share my humble note of gratitude to every member who had attended this meeting. My heart goes to all of you for your wonderful support, and keep supporting. And first and foremost, let me start with the host team, Toastmaster Harinath and Toastmaster Sampath, being the pillar of support for every district activity. Your support means us a lot, and we wish it continues. And moving on to our wonderful presenter, I've told enough in the beginning, and my friends' comments in the chat box, as well as when it goes in the air, everyone will thank you, Nisha, from their bottom of your heart for the wonderful insights you shared with us. Then just making it a presentation. I loved the dissection you made of a winning speech, and the way you presented us has made everything glued in our minds and hearts directly. Thanks a lot. We wish forward to having more insightful, wonderful sessions from you. Of course, our token of appreciation and love we will get to you at the detox stage. Yeah, along with all the other whole loads of bunch you'll be getting in the in future. Wishing you all good luck and thanks a lot once again. And my wonderful Q&A moderator, Toastmaster Naila, for your awesome support, not just being the moderator, but being the support of Pathways Coordinator means a lot. And every member will be in touch with you for all the wonderful works you are doing. We bank on to your continued support as well. How can I forget our charming timer who had been texting me, not from today, yesterday. She was asking me for the, how I have to do it. Should I have to explain the timing rules? I said, well, it will all be taken care. But we would love to hear you, Majabin. If you are there, you can share your feedback of enjoying this session. The screen is all yours.
Thank you so much, DTM Nisha, DTM Mangai. It's an amazing experience to be part of it. I'm very much glad, and I will be this moment and this meeting will be memorable and cherished forever in my life. Whenever I will make speech for myself, my daughter. If I am listening any speech, I will surely take out, remember all your points, what you have given us today. It's our pleasure. Every member must be agree with me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Majabin. You put all our hearts together in your crisp message. We loved it, and we love your support. Thanks a lot. And last but not the least, my wonderful district excom who had been the support of every initiative we come up with. Thanks a lot, my dear friends. And I hope I've covered everyone. If I had missed anyone by mistake, it's not intentional. And look forward to your continuous support to all our trainings. Of course, all these trainings are intended for the members. It can reach only if you all like and you all support and you all, more importantly, participate. With that humble request to all of you, let me adjourn this session. Adjourn.